Where we heard from her dad on Tuesday night, Cecil. God bless you. Give us a wave. He's a Lutheran pastor from Miami, Florida. And this is his daughter, Kelly, who's on our worship team. So share your heart, Kelly.
I was actually really excited about this week because this is the very conference that I came to 6 years ago. It was the first conference I'd been to Catch the Fire of 97, but I was in a really rough place back home, and my life was kind of in shambles at that point. And so my parents decided to bring me back in May of 98 to this very conference, Healing Life Hurts, as a birthday present, which I wasn't extremely excited about, but, you know, they're going to take me to Toronto for my birthday, so I'm like, okay. So anyways, I show up. And I had actually been partying the night before. I really wasn't excited about coming at all. And so my life in my own way was perfect, you know. I had a full scholarship to university, had all my friends. Everything seemed really good, except for a lot of the stuff I was doing. So anyways, they brought me up here, and towards the beginning of the week, I didn't really know what to think. I was kind of like, you know, I'd grown up in the church. Obviously, my dad's a pastor. So I just kind of sat in and listened to whatever I could. But I happened to go to Peter and Heather Jackson's workshop on shame. And I really got a lot out of that. Because I knew, growing up as a Christian, I knew that I was forgiven for things that I had done. And but I still carried a lot of the shame from most of the things. And so, you know, at the end of the session, we sat down and, you know, confessed them to one of the ministry team, and they prayed through and everything. Well, I felt loads taken off of me at that point, and that was wonderful. I still wasn't completely convinced of what God wanted to do with me, but so the last night of the conference, I sat down right over here underneath this clock, and I had no clue what I was doing. I sat there and I was like, I'm not in the mood to pray. I'm not in the mood to talk to God. I'm not in the mood to, you know, even get prayer from anybody. But I just stood there. And someone actually came by and started praying for me, and I don't even remember a thing they said. And because I was mostly dialoguing with God, and I just said, okay, God, here's the deal. I have been through a lot, and the type of person I am, you have to either change me drastically or just walk on by and leave me. And because I knew I had tried to change my life and I tried to move on, but the little pieces that I was taking wasn't enough. And so I ended up laying on the floor, and 2 hours later, and I don't hold still for a long time very well. So I was kind of shocked myself when I got up 2 hours later. And I'm walking around the place, and I'm like, oh, I feel really great, you know. And it ends up, I saw people in a totally different way. I talked differently. I acted different. I had no desire to do anything I was doing back before I had come. And the true thing was when I actually went home, because I figured, you know, I can change here, but when I get home, that's when you can really tell. And the first thing, when I got home, I realized I was being nice to my sisters. I'm like, that's like, you know, my dad will tell you. I was being nice to them, and honestly, my older sister had no clue what to do with me because she was so used to me yelling at her all the time and just always being rude. And you know, so they're like, what is going on with you? And as I went on, like, my language cleaned up, like, everything started changing. And I ended up coming to the school ministry in September of 98. And that was just the next step I needed to take in order to jump on the bandwagon. I mean, and so 6 years later, and I'm sitting here leading worship at the very conference that changed my life. So, yeah. basically, the gist of this story is that God's grace is so huge. And it doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter what you've said, doesn't matter anything. I was nobody. I am nobody without Him. And that's the whole point, is that His grace is far bigger than what we know. And if He can use me to do this, then He can do anybody. I mean, He can use anybody. Yeah. Anyways, I'll hand over the microphone now. Thank you.